There has yet to be an aerial confrontation between two fifth-generation fighter jets, but tensions in Eastern Europe have now put them in the same arena, if not the same ring. Fighting out of NATO's corner is the F-35 Lightning II. Fighting out of Russia is the Su-57 Felon. If this fight became a reality, which one of these planes would win? First, let's take a look at the tail of the tape. The F-35 saw its genesis in the year 2001, when it was announced as the winner of the Joint Strike Fighter program, which began in the 1980s. The Lightning II is a multi-role fighter with several variants: the F-35A, conventional takeoff and landing plane, the F-35B, short takeoff and vertical landing plane, and the F-35C, carrier-based plane. The F-35A entered service in 2016, the F-35B in 2015, and the F-35C in 2019. It is a single-seat plane equipped with the Pratt & Whitney F135 PW100 turbofan engine. It has a top speed of Mach 1.6, about 1,200 miles per hour, and a range of 1,700 miles per flight without refueling, a combat radius of 770 miles, and a service ceiling over 50,000 feet. The F-35 can climb at a rate of 45,000 feet per minute. Its payload includes all of the air-to-air and air-to-ground missiles in service and some of the bombs in the American arsenal. Normally, the plane can carry 4 missiles between its 2 internal weapons bays, though the coming F-35 Block 4 upgrade will increase that capacity to 6. There are also 6 pylons, 3 on each wing, for the F-35 to carry additional munitions, although this would sacrifice the plane's stealth attributes. The F-35A comes with a 25mm gun and 182 rounds as a standard attribute. The F-35B and F-35C can, if need be, mount a 25mm gun on a pod. According to Lockheed Martin, the F-35's manufacturer, the Lightning II's maneuverability has improved significantly since the first batch of planes. Its turn rate is now superior to the fourth-generation fighters in the American air fleet, such as the F-15 Eagle, F-16 Fighting Falcon, and the F/A-18 Super Hornet. The F-35 can perform attacks from all angles at either slow or high speeds and enter enemy turn circles rapidly. Meanwhile, the Su-57 Felon originated in the 1980s, as the Soviet Union wished to create a modern fighter jet to compete with the premier American fighters of the time, like the F-15 Eagle. The Soviet Union's collapse in 1991 disrupted the project, but did not put a halt to it. The current plane began as the PAK-FA, Future Frontline Aircraft System. The Kremlin planned for it to replace the MiG-29 and Su-27 while competing with the F-22 Raptor. The program began in 2001, with a prototype plane having its maiden flight in 2010. The first pre-production plane was delivered to the Russian Aerospace Forces in 2014. The Russians intended for the new aircraft to enter service in 2017 and reach full operational capacity in 2020. But it was not ready, despite the Russian brass ordering 76 of them in 2019. There are 22 of these planes in service as of December 2023. The Felon is a single-seat plane. It comes with twin Saturn AL-41F1 turbofan engines capable of delivering 35,000 pounds of thrust individually, or about 64,000 pounds together. A twin-seat version of the aircraft may be on the way. The Su-57 has a purported top speed of Mach 2, or about 1,530 miles per hour. It has a service ceiling of 66,000 feet, a climb rate of 64,000 feet per minute, and a range of 2,186 miles without refueling. The Kremlin has not revealed any details about the plane's combat radius, although some aviation experts believe it's about 750 miles. The Felon can supposedly carry a higher payload than the F-35, with up to 7,500 kilograms, with 10 internal and 6 external holders for missiles and bombs. There is also a 30mm gun for dogfighting. To further assist it in close-quarters combat, the Felon's engines have a 3D thrust vectoring feature. This feature allows an Su-57's pilot to control the outflow of the plane's engines regardless of the aircraft's direction. In other words, the Su-57 might be flying in one direction, but the engine could be pointing in a different direction. This feature could be particularly useful in a dogfight, as it would allow the Felon to outmaneuver its opponent, The F-35 does not have 3D thrust vectoring. At first glance, the tail of the tape would seem to favor the Su-57 in a traditional match. The Felon has a higher maximum speed, climb rate, and altitude, can carry more weapons, has a longer range, and has 3D thrust vectoring engines to give it an edge in a visual range dogfight. If both planes wound up detecting each other, the advantage should swing to the Russian plane. This reality would be in line with the design of the two fighters. The F-35 is a multi-role plane, while the Su-57 is far more dedicated to air superiority, although it can adapt to other roles like attacking ground targets. However, dogfights are rare in modern warfare. While it would be premature to call them extinct, American military planners believed such a thing in the early 1960s, and those beliefs turned disastrous in the skies over Vietnam. The advent of stealth technology, longer-range missiles, and more sensitive radar means that visual-range plane battles will continue to become less frequent. Greater situational awareness, early detection, and ability to kill from long range are and will increasingly be the most important parts of establishing air superiority. In other words, spot the enemy and shoot him down from long range before he can spot you and do the same. The F-35 has its strengths in precisely these areas. The Lightning II is a true stealth aircraft. Aside from being coated in radar-absorbent materials, everything about the plane's design is made for stealth, including its size. It's a relatively small plane, at 51.4 feet in length, 14.4 feet in height, a wingspan of 35 feet, and a wing area of 460 square feet. The face of the F-35's engine is concealed in a way to add further stealth. In all, the F-35 has a radar cross-section with the profile of a golf ball. The F-35 is even stealthier than the F-22, according to the USAF brass, and its radar-absorbent coating is more durable than the Raptors. Although the exact details are naturally classified, the F-22 can be detected at a range under 10 miles. The F-35 would therefore be even less detectable. Although it is also coated with radar-absorbent materials, the Su-57's design is much less stealthy than its American opponent, to the point that some aviation experts do not regard it as a true stealth plane or fifth-generation fighter aircraft. It is bigger than the Lightning II at 66 feet long and 15 feet high. Its wingspan is 46 feet with a wing area of 848 square feet. To be sure, the Su-57 has a much lower radar cross-section than the Russian fighter jets that preceded it. However, this stealth profile is mostly concentrated in the front of the plane. In contrast to the F-22 and the even stealthier F-35, the Su-57 can be detected at a range of 35 miles. However, the Su-57 might be even less stealthy than this, and we'll discuss those allegations at the end of the video. If the stealth features of the Su-57 are as advertised, the Felon might be able to compete with the Lightning II if the two planes are approaching each other directly. However, if it were to turn or maneuver, the Felon is much more detectable than the F-35. The Felon would therefore have to try and detect the incoming American plane and shoot it down without exposing its sides or rear. The two planes' missile armaments might be the deciding factor. For air-to-air combat, the F-35 can carry the AIM-9X Sidewinder for short-range engagements up to about 22 miles. The British AIM-132 ASRAAM is also compatible with the F-35 and can hit shorter-range targets about 15 miles away. For longer range, the Lightning II can carry the AIM-120 AMRAAM to hit targets about 65 miles away. In the future, the Block 4 F-35B variants will have the capability to be armed with the European MBDA Meteor, which can hit targets about 125 miles away, though this capacity is not expected until 2027. The F-35 will also soon be armed with the hypersonic AIM-260 JATM, which can hit targets about 120 miles away. The new missile will be integrated into the F-35's potential armaments as it starts to enter service. The Su-57 can also be armed with a panoply of air-to-air missiles at different ranges. First, there is the R-73 for shorter distances up to 25 miles. For medium to longer range combat, the Su-57 can carry the R-77M, which can hit targets up to a range of 120 miles. Then there is the hypersonic R-37, which can hit targets at about the same distance with speeds of Mach 6. In a direct confrontation, the Su-57 would have more shots and have a greater reach than the current F-35, although that advantage would be lost once the Lightning II gets the AIM-260 and the MBDA Meteor. So far, things don't seem to be that promising for the F-35. However, to make use of its greater ammunition and range, the Su-57 must first detect its target F-35 before it gets detected itself. As we have seen in the two planes' particular stealth configurations, this might prove difficult for the Russian fighter to do. From what we do know, the F-35 would usually have the advantage of early detection. The F-35 is the world's most sophisticated sensory aircraft. A few aviation experts have likened it to a supercomputer in the sky. The F-35 comes equipped with the AN/APG-81 Active Electronically Scanned Array (AESA) radar system. The range of the AN/APG-81 is, as you would expect, a highly guarded secret, but some aviation experts think it can spot targets between 250 and 300 miles away. The AN/APG-81 can provide high-resolution ground mapping to the F-35's pilot. The Lightning II also comes equipped with a network of cameras at various points on the plane to give the pilot a 360-degree field of view, with the information being fed directly into the helmet. These capabilities will be increased even further with the coming F-35 Block 4 upgrades. The F-35 sensors also include the Advanced Electro-Optical Targeting System and a custom-made AN/ASQ-239 Barracuda electronic warfare system, developed by BAE Systems. The Barracuda provides both offensive and defensive electronic warfare support, which provides all-aspect broadband protection to suppress enemy radar systems and assist the F-35 in targeting valuable assets. For example, the Barracuda Electronic Warfare Suite can turn the F-35 into a stand-in electronic warfare attack platform, without needing to call upon a specialized plane. In this capacity, an F-35 approaching an enemy air defense system could attempt to jam it with its onboard electronic warfare suite. The Barracuda system is also an open architecture one, designed to allow for the addition of new capabilities as they become available. Current F-35s can track 23 enemy planes in 9 seconds and engage 19 in under 3 seconds. The Su-57 also comes equipped with its own AESA radar system, the NO36 Bielka. This radar provides X and L band modes to make it more resistant to enemy electronic warfare countermeasures. The radar provides a 120-degree field of view in elevation and azimuth, the angle between a reference plane and a point. This is the highest possible number for a flat phase array antenna. Though the radar's range is also naturally a secret, some estimates suggest that the NO36 Bielka can detect an 11-square-foot target at a range of roughly 250 miles. The radar system is spread across the felon's body. The Su-57 also comes packed with equipment to give it improved situational awareness. This equipment includes cameras interspersed throughout the plane to give the pilot the information. At first glance, the two planes seem roughly comparable in their radars and electronic warfare abilities. But the F-35 should have longer range detection now and a reduced cross-section. In the short future, the F-35's advantage in this area will grow, as the Block 4 version of the Lightning II will come with a new radar, the AN/APG-85, produced by Northrop Grumman. While the details are of course another secret, the new radar will have an even longer range than its predecessor. It will also have higher resolution, superior tracking, and better electronic warfare capabilities such as jamming and degrading enemy radars. The new radar will have these superior features in part thanks to it being based on a gallium nitride semiconductor system. This same technology is also being designed for the United States Air Force's coming 6th-generation fighter jet, the Next Generation Air Dominance (NGAD) program, giving the F-35 some features of a 6th-generation plane. The current F-35 versus the advertised features of the Su-57 should make for a close contest. Both have similar range, although the F-35's radar has a slightly longer range. Their missiles have similar range too, although the Russian R-37 is faster. The coming Block 4 F-35, combined with the AIM-260 JATM, should give the Lightning II a decided advantage over the Felon at longer distances. The design specifications between the two planes suggest that the F-35 should be able to detect the Felon from further away and shoot it before it can in turn be detected. The F-35 also carries another advantage, sensor fusion, which would prove a significant advantage in any real-world meeting between the two jets. The Su-57 has sensor fusion capabilities of its own. It can link up with Russian assets in the air and on the ground and share its data. However, the F-35's sensor fusion capability is unparalleled. The Lightning II's sensor fusion capabilities can generate real-time pictures of the battlefield and feed it to friendly forces, enabling a combined arms approach to tactical situations through information integration. The Block 4 F-35 will have even greater sensor fusion capabilities. The coming capability will create something that the American military brass calls kill webs, integrating an all-domain approach to target selection and striking. For example, in a scenario involving a meeting between the F-35 and Su-57, the former would be able to more easily relay targeting information to a friendly aircraft or a nearby air defense system that might be in a better position to shoot the incoming Russian plane down. In addition to adding to the F-35's network capabilities, the kill web ability will help the Lightning II to maintain its stealth profile, since it would not need to open its weapons bay to shoot down the incoming Russian aircraft. For a plane that already had a stealth advantage, the kill web would greatly add to its ability to detect and shoot down the Su-57 before it detects the F-35. As we've seen in a direct fight between the two planes, a first look first kill ability for the F-35 is its key to victory. The Lightning II is not a plane that was engineered to take part in close quarters combat like the Su-57. Its purpose is not air superiority, but to be a jack-of-all-trades force multiplier. If the Su-57 can detect its American enemy, it should have the advantage. However, since the Su-57 is more visible to radar than the F-35, in long-range combat scenarios, the Lightning II should be better able to shoot down its Russian rival, particularly once the AIM-260 JATM becomes available in large numbers. That process is expected to begin in 2024. And will be completed by the end of the decade. The advent of kill webs will add to the F-35's advantages at long range. Perhaps that is no longer a one-on-one fight, but in any real wartime scenario, both of these planes will serve as one component in a much bigger framework. A real confrontation between these two fighters would not involve a one-on-one fight, but as part of a network, and this would be where the Su-57 would find itself at its most pronounced disadvantage. The Russian aerospace forces have been hesitant to deploy their newest toy in the skies of Ukraine. For all its capabilities, the Kremlin does not appear to be too confident about the new plane's ability to hide from enemy planes and air defense systems. Most war watchers have observed that the Russian brass is afraid to lose the Su-57 Felon. As we mentioned, only 22 of them are in service as of the end of 2023. Production delays and international sanctions may prevent the Russian military from acquiring the initial batch of 76 that it ordered in 2019. Meanwhile, over 1,000 F-35 Lightning II planes have been built as of January 2024. The United States alone plans to buy a total of 2,457 F-35 aircraft. In any scenario involving hostilities in Eastern Europe, the Su-57 would be significantly outnumbered. The Felon's flaws might go deeper than its production problems. Chris Bolton, an aviation expert, noted on his Twitter feed in June 2022 that the Russian plane has a much larger radar cross-section than commonly reported. According to him, the Su-57 has a radar cross-section similar to the fourth-generation Fa-18 Super Hornet, making it 1,000 times less stealthy than the F-35. Experts have commonly mentioned that the Su-57 is by far the least stealthy of the 4 fifth-generation aircraft currently in the world's skies, a roster that also includes the F-22 Raptor and China's Chengdu J-20. Such a lack of stealth profile might explain why the Kremlin has been so hesitant to deploy it over Ukraine's battlefields and has so far only used it in a long-range support role from Russian airspace. If this is true, the Su-57 would be at a much more pronounced disadvantage against the F-35 than commonly believed. And it's for this reason why many aviation experts do not consider the Felon a true fifth-generation fighter, but rather an advanced fourth-generation plane. Despite numerous doubts, the Su-57 boasts some impressive features. In a traditional plane versus plane fight at visual range, it would likely beat the F-35. The F-35 would also need to be careful about its shot placement, because in a fight with the Su-57 Felon, it would not be able to carry external weapons and expect to survive, because doing so would give up its stealth advantage. However, the F-35 is far more capable to meet the demands of the modern battlefield, and it will only get more capable over the coming years. It is arguable that the Kremlin built a plane to fight the last war. So although it is a capable aircraft, it might not be capable enough to stand up to its true fifth-generation rivals like the F-35. The Kremlin has stated that the current Su-57 will not be the final version, with the Russian brass even claiming that upgrades could make the Felon the first sixth-generation fighter flying the world's skies, ahead of even the NGAD. Safe to say, most aviation experts are very skeptical about these claims. In most practical, real-world fights between the two planes, it would likely be smarter to put your money on the F-35 under most conditions. But do you agree? Don't forget to let us know in the comments. Also, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more military analysis from military experts.